So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a unique video of the week, which was actually requested by you guys on my Facebook when I asked what video should I make today, anything on astrology. And so there was an interesting comment by someone saying that what if you have a horoscope, which is just complete shit. It's just the worst yogas, the worst combinations. You have suffered all throughout life. You have no wealth. Nobody wants you in the family. You can't even find a boyfriend, girlfriend to be with, forget even marriage. Okay, so is there a way to come out of this, and what can you do? Okay, so interestingly, somebody commented on this and said, you need to do meditation. You should do meditation. And apparently that's the easiest way. We try to find somebody help. You should meditate. When you meditate, you'll be more calm. Okay, so me having no money, everybody fighting with me, having barely any career, trying to find a way to feed myself, to live somewhere, trying to deal with all of these debts, all of these health issues that I'm having. Because remember, I am giving the example of the worst horoscope. So, do you really think that suggesting this person to do meditation is any useful? Because if you gave that to me, I would definitely won't say anything to your face, but I'll be like, is this person an idiot? Why? Okay, is meditation going to give me money? Is meditation going to solve any of my issues? It really isn't. You should never do meditation when the world's stress is upon you. Meditation should only be done, should only be started once either you have fulfilled all of your worldly desires, where you have everything, where God has given you everything. So now you're like, I'm in such a peaceful place that I can sit down for meditation. And that's exactly how I came into meditation, when God fulfilled all my dreams, when God gave me everything that I wanted, when this universe came together, gave me everything I wanted, from a home to cars to children to spouse to money. When everything was there, I'm like, you know what? I've done everything now. I've had the best food out there, the best scotches, the best cigars. I've taken trips to some of the best places, expensive hotels. But then I realized that, you know what? I've been wanting to go into this spiritual path. Let's just sit down. Let's sit down. So a couple of years ago, I finally, just in my closet, set up a little thing with all these spiritual gurus that I was just studying about and following. And then I started that meditation, and it was very calm. On the other hand, if you told me to sit down, or anybody to sit down, when everything is going haywire, and when you close your eyes to meditate, what is the first thing that's going to happen? Well, the first and only thing that's going to be happening in this entire meditative process is you're going to keep thinking, oh, how am I going to pay this bill? How am I going to take care of this? How am I going to pay the rent next month? What if I don't have a rent next month and I get kicked out? Where am I going to go? My parents hate me. My siblings hate me. I don't have any friends. Nobody wants me. What should I suicide? Should I do this? Should I do that? Where's the space for you to actually meditate? See, meditation cannot be done when you have too much in your head. Meditation, usually when people do it, they do it with an overflowing cup of tea. With an overflowing cup of tea. If you watch the movie 2012, which was a decent, okay movie, there was a scene with a monk when this student of Zen is really worried. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Can you tell me what's going to happen? And he keeps pouring that tea. And he's like, oh, it's overflowing. And he stops. Well, he says, well, if you really want to know what's happening and what's going to happen, empty all the trash first within you. So in order to do meditation, you need empty space. You cannot have a full hard drive and then you want to put your favorite music on there. If you want to listen to that music later on, you better free up some space. Only then. So it's just like that. What we create outside is we're creating inside. So when they say you need space inside to really understand and store the truth, in physical reality, we have hard drive. And in hard drive, if you have, your favorite porn videos, you have your music, you have useless pictures. Well, where's the space to put something right in it? Well, you don't. You're going to have to empty that space. So the first thing that I want to advise here is that when you are giving this example of the worst horoscope and how to deal with it, the last thing you should do is meditation. The last thing you should do is meditation, because you've got to become more practical. You've got to go out there and kick ass. You got to go out there and make sure that you have a roof over your head, food on the plate, and clothes on your back. That's the three most necessary things in life. Now, once you are doing this, once, let's say, you are working, you are somehow barely making it, and yet you have the worst horoscope, what is out there for you to grasp something much better, more important, or something, that can actually change, your life? Because most of the time, when you are in such a shitstorm and you don't know which way the wind is blowing, you're always in a soliloquy with yourself. You're always trying to just thinking that this is how it's going to happen, and I'm going to do this, and this is going to happen. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And yet it never does. And most of the time, a person will feel quizzical about what their ideas are, what they should be doing, and they're just like kind of slowly starting to just give up on life. So what I'm going to now talk about is how can you change? What are the ways to change? So in order for you to finally wanting to bring a change about in your life is, number one, acceptance. And this acceptance is not like, well, I accept who I am, I accept my circumstances, okay, let's do this. That's not the acceptance that I'm talking about. I'm talking about acceptance that comes through knowledge that you receive when you go a little bit beyond your capacity of understanding and your capacity to learn. And this particular knowledge will only come when you have no thought, meaning you have no opinion. You're not going with some prejudice in back of your mind about something. And pretty much what this shows is that you need to understand the law of karma. Number one thing, that what goes around comes around, which means whatever you did in past life, okay, is simply coming back to you, because what you sow is what you reap. And this is not some philosophical statement to, instigate some motivational talk. No, this is the scientific, this is like super scientific understanding of the cosmos, which regular science, I'm sorry to say, is nowhere close. What the rishis were seeing back in their meditation about the atom, they're now figuring it out about after 10,000 years. So imagine how far those rishis were and how far they are now in the Himalayas than what we are right now with our stupid technology of, cell phones and television. So when they say that there is something called rebirth, there is something called, paying back what you sowed in some of your past lives, it is true. Whether you want to believe me or not, that's not my problem, that's not my concern. Because if you're watching this video, that means you want to kind of understand something more. Talk is that you accept the fact that, I did something wrong in my past life for me to get this. Maybe I murdered a couple of people. Maybe I was a robber and I robbed all the people, including the priest of the town. The reason why no woman wants me or no man wants me, perhaps I raped man or woman in my past life. So now I'm pretty much getting this. I get insulted by people that I like and that I want to date. So it's not like me against the world. Is that why is the world against me? The reason why the world is against me is because these are the same souls that are coming, taking same rebirths as you in this tidal wave of time. And when they come across you, they automatically feel this energy that they don't like you. They don't want to be near you. So that's that's the very first tiny step for you to kind of like revamp your life. Okay. So now let's talk about the actual practical way of improving who you are. And this too, I have to say, because everything is kind of predestined in life, you have to be really, really lucky and be blessed by certain spiritual gurus and masters in your past life, or perhaps in this life, if you are smart enough to seek one, is that you get this understanding of the fact that there's something else out there. See, for someone to go on a spiritual quest, you have to have some kind of like interest in it. Like, I want to know what's beyond this. You no longer just care for your bank job or your IT job or your biomechanical job. You're like, I need to know more. I need to know more. Oh, who is Yogananda? Oh, who is Vivekananda? Oh, who is, Mahavtar Babaji and all of these people? Let me read a book on them. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, let me go to a retreat. Oh, let me meet this person. All of these things that's, pave the ways for you, they only are blessings of certain spiritual master who says, you will come across me and you will come across who we are, and you will be able to get to us. Okay, we bless you. Now, if you insulted some rishi, some guru, you insulted some priest because you were ignorant, well, now you have to live 1,000 lives in a material world before you even get the essence of that. Essence of, that there is something else out there. Because there are many people who are just stuck in this earthly realm that for them the material thing is more important than the subtle. So even though when I'm saying that, you should do this, it's really is predestined. If you're meant to get it, you will get it. Like I've always said, like the person who is meant to watch my video or meant to get a reading from me, they're the only ones who are going to get it. I can be in front of 1 billion people and 99.9% people will never do anything. Why? Because they don't have that karma with me. They're not destined to see me. Whether I am BSing out of my mouth or I'm maybe spitting out some little subtle truth, it's just you have to be destined to listen, to watch something, to listen to something. Why is it that you watched that movie and not that movie that day? There's a reason behind it. There's like this cobweb on matrix of this cosmos that makes you do certain things. So how is it that you can get out of this rut of this absolute, horrible karmic pattern that you have attained in this life? Well, the first thing is, why is it that you're upset? Why is it that you are upset about things? Why? Because you want something that cannot be attained. You want the wife, you want the husband. You want to be living like those people with the big house. So what is it that we create? Desire. The desire is the root of all evil. Because if let's say if I had a desire, utmost desire to, let's say, be the next Lata Mangeshkar, or to be the next, John Lennon, and I never got it. I kept trying. At one point in life, I'll be so heartbroken that I probably want to kill myself. But if I look at myself now, knowing who I am, I don't want to be a singer. I don't forget even being John Lennon or wanting to be Lata Mangeshkar. I don't want to be a singer. So you see how I don't have that desire. I don't really want it because it's not in my genes, it's not in my DNA, it's not in my birth chart. This is how you need to program yourself. It's the programming. That why do I want this? Like, for example, I wanted to be a filmmaker really badly. I made 28 short films. I raised money that, you know, I didn't know how I did it. I just raised money. If you ask me now, if somebody says, let's make a movie, I have the budget, I'll be like, let me find you a director. Let me find you somebody. I have no interest in it. And this is why I haven't even made the Ketu movie, because that burning desire is not there. That desire to make something. Oh, I need to make this movie. Why? Because the thing is, it's like there are certain events that have happened in my life where the ego has just kind of like had a major crack in it. It's not broken yet, because there's still ego in me, but it has cracked significantly. Where now I no longer wish to make a movie or be known as a filmmaker, because it would have uplifted my ego. That's the only reason why I wanted to do it. I wanted to be the next, M. Night Shyamalan or Steven Spielberg or, Yash Chopra or something. But once that ego breaks, you're like, well, if ego's already broken, I don't want, this is not doing anything for me now. So breaking of ego is not a bad thing. Breaking of ego just shows that what you were trying to pursue in life, it was simply an imagination of your own delusional mind and your heart. So and how do you get to a point where you don't care if you get a woman or a man, or you have the big house, or you get the praises of your relatives and your parents? What is it that breaks? What can you do to break out of that? Well, then again, you have to break that ego, because it's all that egocentric, environment around you, that I have to impress them. I have to have this big house so my relatives can come and see, and then they can see that I'm successful. But the way to do this, the way to really break the ego, is you have to be lucky enough to come across something that helps you break it easily. And I'm going to give you one of those things that I've always talked about, actually. But it wasn't until recently that I came across someone that I spoke to, and they told me something as to why people go into understanding a higher self of themselves than being stuck here. And that is the book Autobiography of a Yogi, which really started for me everything. It wasn't the documentary of Yogananda I watched in Sedona like 4 years ago called Awake. I couldn't care. After I watched the movie in theater, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, it's nice. But until I read the Autobiography of a Yogi, I actually listened to it, the Ben Kingsley's version. Read that thing like redundantly for 12 times or 13 times in 1 year. It would just play in my car anytime I go. It would be on my desktop playing. So then I got to understand that Yogananda left his vibrations, his mystical vibrations, in the book. And he must have told one of his disciples that I've done this. So when people read this, something changes in their brain where it suddenly puts them on the path towards that higher self, whether there's a storm on the right side and a flood on the left side. They want to go towards that. So when you have the worst horoscope in the world and you're trying to figure out, how do I get away from this stress? Well, this is not some salesmanship that, I'm trying to do. This is not some endorsement, secret endorsement to Kapiel Raaj given by, SRF or something. Nothing like that. I'm telling you what manifested in me for me to really just be wholeheartedly, I wouldn't say obsessed, just wholeheartedly just wanting to know the supreme consciousness, wanting to know other realms, wanting to know things. And then from knowing, you wanting to get that experience. Then from experience, you come across people who actually help you to not just make it into an experience, but make it into a lifestyle. So This is very important. There's a scientific reason. There's a mystical, occultic reason behind why when people read autobiography of yogis, suddenly something zaps inside them and they go towards that. And once you're towards that, you could be in one closet or you could be in a mansion. You will stay subtle. You will stay subtle. That's number one. You'll be like, okay, I can do my meditation in the closet, like I was doing back in my other house, or I can do meditation in my actual meditation hall that I have now in my house. Regardless, the omnipresent is exactly the same as it's in a hut in India, in a closet in DC, or a meditation room in Texas. So that's the thing that happens. You become very subtle. You become subtle. Whether good things happen, you stay calm. Bad things happen, you stay calm. But then let's go to the other thing. Reading this book. Even if you're not a reader, if you listen to it, there is blessings by Yogananda to help a person to get the resources that they need in order for them to fully devote themselves towards whatever you want to call it, spiritual path, wanting to know God, wanting to know divinity, wanting to understand the omnipresence around you. And I was searching for this answer for quite a while. I'm like, why is it that suddenly when I read the book, now I can watch Awake, his documentary, 10 times a day, and I just love it. Every word. There's some moments I even just cry. Why does that happen? Is because that book has some mystical energy and power that I can't exactly tell you what it is, but the way things are worded, it just his vibration. He's put his vibration in it. So whether you read it backwards or forward, it's still going to do the same effect. So once you do this, and don't be just believing in me, never believe any BS you hear. That's why, and that's something that is also quite dangerous nowadays. There's too many, as they say, there's too many gurus and teachers and astrologers more than students of astrology. There's too much BS out there, too much BS on YouTube about this concept, that concept, Kriya Yoga, this and that. It is like it's like deep fake. Have you guys seen any deep fake videos of celebrities? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger on his Sylvester Stallone face on Jim Carrey's face. It looks real and it's all manipulated. But yeah, I was very lucky to find this out from someone, that the reason why you have been so attracted to this, not only because of my past life link with Yogananda and with the Babaji and with the whole Kriya family in a way, there's a deep past life connection with there, but it also, it's the actual book that just has this vibration emitting from itself, whether you listen to it or whether you read it on paper. It's I'm just letting you know what I found out when I was looking for such answers. Then you want to go another step. And this is actually more practical than anything else. Because some people won't even have a patience to listen to one chapter of autobiography of a yogi, because probably they're not destined to. But if there's something that you really want to know, then that would be specifically for the horoscope, which is having the most worst effect of the planets, is Vastu. Vastu Shastra, and applying it correctly within your home is going to make a difference. And this is something I'm talking about being a guinea pig of it in the past 2 years. 2.5 years actually. I just recently started talking about it, but I've been studying this for quite a while now. But Vastu Shastra, and I actually talk about this, especially I talk about the directions and certain things of Vastu even on my online academy, Maga Vedic Astrology Academy, where I tell people like just by doing these simple things, it can change a whole lot for a person. Why? Because the thing is, like for example, Mars represents the kitchen. So let's say if Mars was in the fourth house when you were born, that means the home that you were first brought to, Mars was in the north direction, meaning kitchen was in the north direction. So kitchen was in the north, fire element was in the north. And because of that karmic pattern, most of the time when you go to any place without knowing this, not even subconsciously or in whatever consciousness level you can think of, you will always get a home which will have a fire element in the wrong direction. Until you either become aware of this and you change it, or by luck of your dasha, luck of your planets, it changes to the right place. Because more than Jyotish back in the days, it was Vastu that was really taken really seriously. But the thing is, Ayurveda, Vastu, and Vedic Astrology or Jyotish are interlinked. It's like a triangle. One cannot stand without the other. All three of them are integrated. So this is how you can see. Why do they say that Mars in the 10th house will make a person not be afraid of things, not, will be able to fight the world, deal with the world? Why? Because the dwelling that they will be living in, the fire element will be towards the south, where it's needed, where it gives more valor, where it can give more fame. So changing the Vastu will help you, but of course you've got to do it correctly. You can't just just put something here. You have to make sure that there's no anti-element on that direction. If there's anti-element in that direction, you put the right element, it's just going to become a cluster mess. That's it. It's just going to become a mess of a cluster, and it's going to get worse or it's not going to do anything. So if you can't change the horoscope, well, at least the dwelling, which is the most important, the Vastu Purusha, which is the most important, because you're always spending more time at home. And especially nowadays when more people are on remote locations and doing work remotely from their home, well, now it's even more important to make sure that, you are in the right dwelling. You do have the right degree where the main door is opening. You want to make sure this item is not placed in that direction, or just by simply putting new items in certain directions will immediately bring that effect. Like for example, my property, which I just sold last week, I put it on sale, and before I put it on sale, I asked my agent to put it on a certain day, to put the property on sale on a certain day. But before I did it, I did something in my home, the one that I was selling. I put something in a certain direction, and my friends, some of my close friends, and my spouse, they were kind of very skeptical. They're like, no, it's going to take time, because my home was in not the best area where property prices are so high and everybody wants to be there. No, people who want to be there is pretty much like people who are assigned some assignment for government, because I was just around military and Marines and all of those things. So, and there was barely any kids in where I was living. So I'm like, I wonder if I can sell this or not. But once I knew all of these things, and I kind of challenged, or my spouse and my friends are like, okay, let's see. The day the property went on sale, the first day I got the 3 offers. I got 3 offers on first day. One was exactly the same price that I wanted, one and 2 of them were low. So I picked the one that was the exact amount that I was looking for, because I just wanted to get out. I didn't care for the profit, although I ended up getting a profit. But they did it, and the property closed just yesterday. And all I had to do was just pay one extra mortgage payment for the home, which I didn't care because I got it back anyway, from the sale. So just by that, in the area which is the hardest, there was nothing selling in the city that I was in. Hardly things were selling, especially at the price that I wanted to sell. But I'm like, I know this because I have the knowledge, because I can see that other people can't, that nobody probably knows in that entire city, or probably the state of DC and Maryland, that I was able to do something by use of divinity, by use of the ancient knowledge, that within the first day, I'm like, all right, offer accepted. Done. Go. So if you want to know this magic potent, well, that would be Vastu. That would be Vastu. But I mean, I can go on for next 2 hours explaining about the importance of divinity. But I gave you the most important, the most smallest, and the most important seed. When you read autobiography of a yogi, first it will change you, your brain cells, it'll change you. And then what's going to happen is, because you're going towards that path through this book kind of becomes this occultic tool where it starts helping you to find the right job that can give you more time. Slowly, it's not a 1-day thing or 2-day thing. It can take a year, but within that year, you will see these things are happening, so you can devote your time. The main mission of the book is to give you more time towards divinity and towards finding God realization. And hey, I welcome it. If it can just help me retire so I can, be doing this 8 hours a day, I would love to. Okay. So anyway, guys, I don't want to take too much of this time, but it was an interesting subject. What to do when the horoscope is so bad. Where's the light? How can you find the light? So hopefully you got a little bit light through me. But anyway, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss any astrological video. And if you're wanting to know about my consultation, my books and reports on my academy, check out the links here, especially under the shop section. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow with a Navamsha video. Bye-bye.